welcome to another segment of a candid conversation with Adam Lopez. My name is Adam, and today we have somebody all the way from Manhattan, New York. She's Justine Prete. She's the Director of Business Development and Channel Partners for Safe Drive Systems. Justine, welcome to the program.
Hi, thank you, Adam. I'm so happy to be here and to talk candid with you.
First and foremost, I want to say that Justine and I tried to connect for I don't know how long, and things
I
just
think like two
happened. And
months.
right, it's like things went back and forth, and there were sickness and then Wi-Fi issues and blackouts, and it's like, is this ever going to happen? Like I was trying to think we were never going to have this conversation, Justine, but thank
Exactly.
God that we're here. We're talking. You're in New York. Let me ask you first and foremost, Justine. This is a crazy, unprecedented, uncharted waters that we are all experiencing. And we've been trying to adapt as best as we could from a business standpoint, from a family standpoint. If we have children, I mean, every aspect of our livelihood has been affected from this crisis and pandemic. So let me ask you, how are you doing? How's your family doing?
My family, I am so lucky. Everyone has been happy and healthy. We have managed to evade COVID scares. So that I'm very thankful for. But you're 100% right. It's affected both in negative and some positives. I am always an optimistic person, so I do see the silver lining in some respects. With work, life, home balance, I think it becomes a little difficult, but it's also really great that I'm seeing people that always felt that they needed to be in the city and they needed to be away from their families so much because, maybe managers or upper management didn't believe that you could work from home and be productive. I think that view is changing, which I think is a very positive thing for a lot of people. I know I actually work more now at home,
Yeah,
less commute.
yeah.
But it also, I think, has been the worst for family life, right? And friends and missing people and missing human contact and connection. Socially, I think it's been over the top. And I think small businesses have been really hurting during this time. And there definitely needs to be more leadership helping them to continue to grow and not
Yeah.
let them fall off the map.
Those are really good points. And the interesting thing as well, Justine, is that you're back east, right, in New York, and I'm here in California. So, and it's interesting and it's frustrating what occurred because you have this pandemic and this crisis, and it's uncharted waters. Like everybody was trying to navigate according to the best they could, right? So then,
Agreed.
at each state is different, right? And then it wasn't like
That
one size.
that I think is this. I think that's a really amazing point that you're talking about. I think that if everyone doesn't see that, depending on where you live in the United States, it's a whole different world.
Yeah,
We all have different things that we need to conquer. Problems are different.
yes,
Issues are different. And that goes both socially and politically, right? Because of your location, it matters.
yeah.
So it definitely, I think that this was eye-opening for everyone to see we are almost like our own little countries, each state, and we all have our own needs and we view things differently. So it's
No,
very unique to see.
yeah, and I bring up that point because that was probably the most difficult, I guess, brick wall to have to hurdle because you have the CDC, you have the regulations, each state is different, and then you have each governor with their own different rules,
Yeah,
and then you
you
have
no uniformity at
right,
all
and
and no
then you,
consistency in anything that was said. And I think that that's the most confusing part for the people like us at home trying to navigate through this and figure out what are the next steps, right?
yeah,
How do you figure out the next steps if you don't even understand what's actually transpiring?
yeah,
So the problem is that everyone is always so scared, right? I remember being a child in kindergarten, and my kindergarten teacher, Mrs. Brown, I'll never forget her, but she always said, don't be scared to ask a question and say, I don't know. And I
yeah,
think that that's a societal issue, is that people are too scared to just say, I'm sorry, I'm going to have to get back to you. I'm not sure. I need to do
mm,
more research.
yeah,
Right? They want to
yeah,
give you an answer that is both diplomatic and politically correct, and
correct,
also makes them seem like they know they have all the answers, right? And I think that unfortunately we should start to learn that we're never going to all have the answers, right? Problems arise, and then we try to find a solution to that problem.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
and that's also what I love about my job so much. It kind of goes off that, right? We are a loss mitigation tool, right? A safety feature. So you're trying to discuss risks are
Yeah.
problems, risks are where, are going to be sometimes, unfortunately, fatality, in my case, or severe injuries to people, which is just like you're dealing with a pandemic, right? Fatalities, injury.
Yeah.
This idea of the unknown can unfortunately have catastrophic
Yeah.
consequences. And
Yeah.
so it's hard to tell someone, and people, our leaders don't want to say, I don't know, because
Yeah.
that's the reality, is that
Yeah.
that could happen. And you saying you don't know, I think it makes them feel
Yeah.
uncomfortable. And
Yeah.
but unfortunately, sometimes that's the best thing to do,
Yeah.
is to do more research and to really understand the problem, so that you can remain consistent. And that
Yeah.
way you don't take unnecessary steps just to take 10 steps backwards.
Yeah. So I think we can actually spend about 2 hours talking about this stuff. But we are speaking to Justine Del Prete all the way from Manhattan, New York. She is with Safe Drive Systems. And let's shift here a little bit, Justine, and let's talk about the company you work for, you represent, which is Safe Drive Systems. You are the Director of Business Development. Why don't you explain a little bit to our viewers and our listeners what exactly is Safe Drive Systems and what is the business approach behind it?
Sure. So Safe Drive Systems, our mission here is to save lives and to make the roads a safer place through the use of technology. And that is comes through in every solution that comes off our assembly line. And
Nice.
it's always our mission. We are here to solve the problems of road safety and making sure that people, both employees and people on the road, get home safe to their friends and family. And that
What
is our
would you,
main goal.
okay, perfect. And what would you say? Obviously, you deal a lot with the fleet, right? Fleet safety, fleet from big companies. Uh,
Yes, I deal with all types of industries. So basically, anywhere there is a commercial auto risk exposure to the
got
business
it.
portfolio, we can service that client. And so that gives me a lot of different industries and
Yeah.
a very big range, right?
Yep.
So I have EMS companies. Construction is a very large part of our business as well. We have a
Yeah.
great partnership with AXA XL, their
Mm,
construction division, and their new
yeah.
tech initiative, which has been such a pleasure.
Yeah.
As well as, of course, transportation, long haul, trucking and towing, municipalities, fire departments, police departments, everything where there's commercial auto aspect.
That's awesome. And I guess your opportunities are endless because there's a lot of opportunity, a lot of different industries. But let me ask you this question. March of last year, all industries took a dump, were affected by this horrible pandemic. Did you guys see any effects, whether impact, whether negative or
So
positive, as far as your industry?
So ironically, I think that the things that we took for granted the most, which was our transportation guys and our trucking guys that
Yeah.
get our food to us, that get our deliveries for necessities that we need to
Oh,
survive,
yeah. Mhm.
um, especially during a quarantine when you can't go to a store, they became in demand. So we saw a shift
Mm,
from the average man or woman who owns their own small business in trucking, something that seemed to
yeah.
be a little outdated and always kind of caused um, issues for the insurance industry, especially when dealing
Mm,
with risk exposure, the volatility of it. And I think that we saw that this is a growing business, and that
yeah.
was very positive, I think, for many of them who over the years have had to really slow their businesses down due to the high costs
Yeah.
associated with their insurance premiums. So ironically, now it will be that insurance carriers and more broker agencies will be taking on these clients and trying to solve their problems rather
Mm,
than to push them aside and say this is a dying
yeah.
business. Now they have to pay attention and decide all the risks that are there that were so volatile. How do we solve those problems? How do we lower this instead of transferring risk? A lot of risk management has kind of moved. We used to just
Yeah.
transfer it and try to avoid it. Now we try to manage it and manage it properly. And that's where we come in with new technology.
Yeah.
There's a better way. It's more efficient. It's a little
Yeah.
scary. Again,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
something that people need to learn. And so we always see clients that are very fearful of taking the first step to onboard and to get to the process, because it's unfamiliar territory and
Yeah.
they need help to understand it. And I think that's always the biggest challenge, is for everyone to see that even though it's, tech is emerging, I understand it's hard to keep track of what's new and what
Yeah.
does what, but doing research is very important. Understanding the main components and differences between each tech solution is very important, because again, each client is different. Their
Yeah.
risk profile is different. You
Correct.
have different needs. So
Yeah.
make sure you do your research and you figure out, what are your main issues and what do you need to fix in order to present better and to be better.
I think that's great, Justine. I'm a huge advocate for preventative measures and awareness. I'm a loss consultant and risk manager. That's my expertise. So I commend you for what you guys are doing. I think it's important. I think all companies should have this type of service provided to them, this type of support. So that goes on to my next question. What is in the future plan for Safe Drive Systems? Do you have a business model, business plan, strategy for the next 3 to 5 years?
Yes, we are going to continue, obviously, with our solutions. Every problem that we see, we're always trying to find a great new tech solution to address that issue. But what we're really focusing on is just making partnerships, making long-term partnerships, and going through the process. Safety as a service here is really big part of what we do.
Yeah. Yeah.
A lot of tech companies, or the perception, I should say, is that tech companies today lack in servicing and lack the connectivity to their clients. We are still very face-to-face. I get to know every single one of my channel partners, their needs, their clients' books of business, and the risks and the issues that they're seeing every day. We have created solutions based off of our clients' problems.
Yeah.
We are growing with them and listening to them and talking to them and meeting with them and helping them through this journey, holding their hand and saying, we are a partner. We are not going to put the tech in and leave and expect you to figure out driver behavior data tomorrow. I think that that's a problem as well, thinking or expecting somebody who's own a construction company, who runs a fire department, to be able to do these things. I think you need to teach someone, and you need a partner to do that, right?
Yeah.
You need somebody, a mentor, and you need somebody who's going to go through the journey process with you. And we are very big proponents here. And we also perform, we created something very unique. It's called a risk assessment, so to speak, or an in-depth claims analysis. So before onboarding any client, we get to know them and their risk profile. So I use multiple data points to try to extrapolate and understand the problems that they see from both an operational standpoint every day to where are we going in the future? Where do we need to manage? Where do we need to manage the risk? Where are the issues? For my segment, it's usually we look at DOT citations, motor vehicle violations,
compliance.
Yes, 2.5 years or 3 years of auto collision loss runs.
Yeah.
And then based off of all of those things, and then speaking with the client, do they have safety engineers? Are they smaller? Are they not well capacity? How much time is put into this?
Yeah.
By gaining all that information, then we pair them with the correct solution that addresses their specific needs. And it's many times that people come in thinking, oh, I'd love a dash cam. Oh, I need a telematics unit. And that is not the appropriate solution for them. And they will continue to see their problems that they're facing because they're not choosing the proper piece of technology. So that is something that we do very well, and that I'm very proud to say we are unique in the sense that we do that. There's no one size fits all approach here.
That is great. We're speaking with Justine Prete from Safe Drive Systems. She just gave us a lot of information, good tips, good advice that it's needed. I'm a huge advocate for this stuff, and look into it. It's great. Justine, so we're already going to be at the end of this interview, but I wanted to ask you, obviously, with all these restrictions and stay-at-home orders, and each state being different. Did you guys have to adapt, or what did you do different, or did it even affect you at all, not being able
Yeah,
to have,
of
face-to-face
course.
meetings or conferences, or you can attend expos? It's just been weird, right?
Yes,
So what have you guys
the
done?
event aspect I think has been the worst. I am a big proponent in order to accomplish my job and to do it well.
Correct.
That face-to-face meeting, I do a lot of seminars and speaking engagements. Like I used to host a lot of lunch and learns. But I must tell you, so because all my clients are in so many different states, I did always, every lunch and learn was live streamed, that, and
Oh,
all my brokers, all my carriers, everyone could um, get involved. And I always saw the ratio was very close. And obviously we're a tech firm, so we were always prepared to work from home. That transition, thank goodness, was not something that I had to fear or found to be difficult. We are completely remote. We can work from anywhere. But I do miss seeing, and I have to tell you, being on site, seeing my clients' commercial vehicles, understanding their garages, their daily day operations.
yeah.
Being on site is something I miss dearly, because it is very good
Mm,
insight
yeah,
as to what they're facing and what their day looks like. And I think,
yeah,
again, it's important to know what your clients deal with on a daily basis. What does their day look like when they go to work?
yeah,
It's a better understanding of who they are and how their business runs. So that aspect has been a bit difficult. And the events, we do a lot of seminars, a lot of speaking engagements, because technology is about learning
yeah,
um, and explaining to people differences, and
yeah.
how that integrates with the progression of where it's going. So it's been difficult in that sense.
But it sounds like you have it under control. It sounds like you were able to navigate these waters perfectly and continue moving the company forward and progress, because you and I know that's not the case for a lot of companies. Some companies went under. Some companies had to close. All right.
Yeah, and I hate to admit this, and I said this to my boss all the time. I said, "You have me for longer now." Yeah, I actually work more because my commute is half. I commute to Manhattan
Yeah,
every day. I'm here in Long Island, so my commute's an hour and a half each way. So that's 3 hours extra that I'm actually working now.
yeah,
So,
yeah,
you kind of get the best of both worlds, and it's nice to be able to kind of have my whole setup and in your comfortable
yeah,
setting. I'm a
yeah.
person of comfort. So
Well, we have been speaking with Justine Del Prete, Director of Business Development and Channel Partner for Safe Drive Systems out of Manhattan, New York. Justine, it was great to learn from you, learn from the company. I'm very excited for what you guys are doing out there. I'm excited to see going forward how you're going to implement more resources, more support, more lines of product. It's so great. Do you have any last word for our viewers and our listeners?
everyone, just please stay safe, stay healthy, and stay optimistic. Try to push through. The bad times don't last, right? Tough people do. So
Yeah,
we'll
well,
get through
if
this together.
thank you, Justine. If anybody listening or hearing this, watching this wants to get a hold of their company, I'm going to put this on the screen, but I'm going to say it as well. This is a website, www.safedrivesystems, altogether, safedrivesystems.com. It'll be on the screen as well. And the phone number directly to reach Justine and Safe Drive Systems, it's area code 646-780-7602. Again, it'll be on your screen, but here it goes again. Area code 646-780-7602. And Justine is also available on LinkedIn as well. Very professional and detailed profile where you can get a hold of her through that platform as well. So again, you've been watching another segment of a Candid Conversation with Adam Lopez. Until next time, and thank you for your support. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Adam.